Welcome back to another video. Jimmy Shaka here, and this time we are going to talk about the file compression and file and directory compression and archiving. Okay, the difference between archiving and compression is that when you are archiving, say, 1 gigabyte of file size, right? 1 gigabyte. Your end result after you archive your file is going to be of the same size. Okay, that's archiving. But with compression, when you're compressing 1 gig, say it's a text file that is 1 gig in size, we basically gonna get a much smaller end result file. Okay, so you're gonna go from, say, 1 gig to like 100 megabyte. Okay, so which is like 80 something or 90% compression. Okay, compression ratio. Perfect. So that's the difference between archiving and compression. Today we're going to talk about the two main compression algorithms, and the first one being GNU, and the second one being bzip2. Okay, let's explore the first one. Okay, and let's say we wanted to compress the etc directory. So sudo tar and C here for to create compression, Z to specify the compression algorithm. Here in this case it's GNU or gzip extension, and V for verbose. F, we want to specify the file name, etc.tar.gz, and our file path, our directory we want to compress. Okay, enter, and it's done. ls home directory, as you can see, it's been created here. Perfect. And let's go ahead and compress this time with a different algorithm, the bzip2. Okay, bzip2, and enter. ls command to list my current directories, and one more thing, sudo sudo duh, so my original etc directory is 12 megabytes in size, and it's been compressed to, let me rerun this, so human readable, and it's been compressed to 1 meg and 1.3 for gzip. Okay, gzip is 1.3, bzip 1.1, and we know the original size was 12 M. So let's calculate and see how much compression ratio we got out of these two. Okay, so calculator. Okay, so we have, the first one is 1.1 out of 12 meg. Okay, so 1.1 divided by 12, and minus 1, so it's a 90% compression. Okay, 90% compression. And then the other one is 1.3, so this one right here, the gzip 1.3. Okay, so 1.3 divided by 12, that's about 89% compression. Okay, so we can tell that the bzip compression, which compressed down to 1.1, is much better. It compresses a little bit farther down to only 1.1 as opposed to 1.3. But back in the day, gzip was considered, before the computers were, I guess, this fast or powerful. This was, obviously would take more resources of your computer, and it's going to take a little longer to run because it's doing a little bit heavier task of compressing a little bit farther, 90% compression as opposed to say 89 with the gzip. Okay, so that's how you compress your files into much smaller ones, and that's pretty good. You can exclude certain files that you don't want to compress by running the exclude option. Say here we could have said that we don't want to compress, we want to compress everything in the etc directory, but we want to avoid exclude. We want to avoid say everything that has star dot mkv, for example, right? And when you run this, or so that, or say conf, say config. So so in this case, you want to exclude everything that has a .config extension. So that's how you could compress everything excluding those items inside the etc directory that do have the .config extension. So you can extract your file with the same similar command. Let me clear this out of here. ls this. Let me get rid of this right here for now. So remove r etc. Remove etc. Oops. Let me force this so it does not prompt us to keep to approve every single one of them. Okay. Sudo. Okay, clear. Now ls. Now let's go ahead and extract these compressed files that we have here stored in our home directory. So the same way we did while we compressed these is exactly pretty much the same way we will do to extract these, except instead of C to create, we're gonna do X to extract. Okay, and the option J is for bzip, and Z for gzip. Okay, so enter. Oops. Enter. Okay, and ls command, and you can see etc has been extracted on here. Okay, and you can read ls-l current directory. You can see that it's here, right there. Okay, let's see. Yep, it's right here. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and get rid of that etc file, list content of my directory again, so that etc file is gone. Now let's go ahead and extract from that one, that gzip. Okay, so the way we do that is pretty much the same command again, and bring it up here. Instead of C, we're gonna extract, which is X, and instead of J, it's gonna be Z, because it's a gzip. So gz, and we're gonna extract on here. Enter. ls -l current directory, and you can see the etc file has been extracted on here. Perfect. So that's how you compress a large file into a relatively smaller file, and then this is how you do to restore your original file from a compressed file. So this is how you extract. Okay, so you can compress it and then you can extract it back to the original file. Okay, you can extract into any directory. Say let's make a directory, compress, for instance. Let's make directory here. Okay, and ls, you can see that it's over there, right there. And let's say we want to extract our etc.tar.gzip into the compressed directory. In that case, what we do is exactly what we did. X here for extraction, Z for the gzip, V for verbose, so we can visually see the extraction. F, we're going to specify the file, and here we're going to say capital C to specify the destination directory, which is compress, and enter. Okay, and when we list, let's go ahead and list our stuff here, and in its directory you can see that the compress directory has content in it. Okay, see that size right there? That's the content of the compress directory, and we can move into that directory, actually compress, and you can list content of that, and you can see that etc has been extracted into this new newly created directory, compress. There it is, our etc directory, direct extraction. Perfect, right? Notice that these two compression algorithms are not compatible, meaning, so change directory back to the home directory. If you wanted to extract this, you have to use the Z option here, this Z option to extract. Of course, X here to extract X, Z for gzip, and J to replace Z for the bzip2. Okay, but if you by mistake if you come here, instead of Z you put a J, and it's a gzip, it's not gonna work. Okay, it's not gonna work. Notice this gave you this error message. It's because the J option here only works with bzip2. Z on the other hand, extension Z also cannot work with bzip, bzip2 either. So with bzip2 you have to use J here, not Z, so vice versa. But on the contrary, if you omit your option there, so you do not if you do not mention whether it's a Z or a J, tar will auto detect which compression it's about to extract, and it's gonna pull or call on the actual algorithm one that it's about to extract here. It's gonna know which one it is if you do not mention your extension here. But if you do mention it, it's best that you mention the correct one. But do not put in do not put the one for the other and vice versa. Okay, because in that case it's gonna fail. But if you do forget, you do not mention any extension here or option, tar would auto detect which one is in use, and it's going to go ahead and extract it. So let's see if it's going to work. So we're going to extract bzip2, but we forgot to mention the J right after the X. Enter. See, it worked. And ls dir 1, you can see that in directory 1 we have just extracted etc. Okay, perfect. And let's say you wanted to look up in the compressed file that you have. You wanted to look up in there and see if you have a particular file that's been compressed in there, that's located in there, right? How would you do that? The command for that will be to type a command. It will be to type command tar and -tf, and then your file name, so etc dot tar dot say bzip2, and you want to grep it with the string of text that you're looking for. In this case, let's say we're looking for the ssh daemon underscore config file. Okay, we're looking and trying to see if this config file is located in the compressed file. Okay, if it's in there or not. Enter. Sure enough, it found something for us. Perfect. How about say ngx server? Nothing. How about Apache 2? You found something, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. Anyways, but you get the idea. So that's how you can look up and find that a particular file is located within your compressed file or not. Okay. What is that? Say you are trying to create some sort of a backup, and tar. Let's say we want to create a compression. We want to create a compression file, but we want to be able to refer to our newly created compressed file in the future, and be able to identify which date the backup was taken at, on what day the backup was taken. In that case, we want to insert the date into the name of the archive we're about to create. Okay, how do you do that? Okay, so the way you do that is you run it with $, with open parentheses, open and close parentheses, and in here is where you type det plus and percent capital F. So det plus and percent percentage sign capital F, okay, and enter. So ls command that, you can see backup has been created as a compressed file, and look at that. So what's today's date? Today's date is April 15, 2022. April 15, 2022. That has been inserted in the name of the archive. That's a pretty good way of naming your backup files, and be able to compress them at the same time. And in the future, when we want to restore those etc files, it's going to be easy because we know the date from which on which it was taken. So that's how you add the date in the name of your archive. So with this completes everything about archiving and slash compression. And to review, we have manually here we have that gzip and created by the GNU and GNU algorithm, and then we have bzip2. Okay, bzip2 being the one that's a little bit more compressed to give you that extra 10% extra compression compared to the other one. So thank you very much, and this completes everything about file compression and file archiving. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.